One of the comments that I usually get each semester is my brain is not wired to work in a history class. I'm no good at history. History is difficult. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it very much. I think that pretty much every professor and every campus in America would have a similar experience with that, whether you're talking about chemistry or physics or calculus, whatever the case is. Furthermore, I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding in terms of ways that you can really maximize your performance in any class, history or otherwise. This, of course, is an online class, and it's not exactly the same animal as a lecture class that would meet face-to-face, but I think that you can make the case that whatever class it is that you're talking about, and whatever format it is, there's ways to work smarter and not necessarily harder, for instance. What I hope to do with this video, which is sort of like a follow-up, a complimentary sort of follow-up to the Welcome to the Class video, is explain ways that you can really maximize your performance in this class. And not necessarily have to dump in hours upon hours of more of your valuable time. I realize that one of the reasons that you're probably taking this class is because you're busy doing other things, you've got jobs, you've got other classes, and so you really need to find ways to go ahead and get out ahead of the curve, so to speak. Let me go ahead and point out some of the features of this class that I really think that they're going to help you to do well in this class. To begin with, I want to point out the content button of Blackboard. Now, if you're in Blackboard right now, I want you to go all the way to the left and look for something called content. If you click it, there's going to be two folders that come up. One is entitled Video Lectures, the other is called PowerPoint Presentations. Now, really, these are two of the same things, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a moment. In any case, my goal for this online class is to get you as close as the face-to-face experience as we possibly can. I think one reason that a lot of students fall behind in an online class, a lot of times they're frustrated, is because they feel as if they're taking this class alone. Of course, the professors out there emailing them, and you see grades show up every so often in the grade center. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people that really feel like they're going this alone, and I really want to address that in the time that we have here. Now, content. First thing I want to point out is that those video lectures, every lecture that I would give in the face-to-face class has been uploaded and is ready for you to view. They are a little bit lengthy. They are approximately a half hour apiece, but they're YouTube links. You can listen to them while you're working out on a Stairmaster. If you're mopping the floor, I've been known to do this at home, doing a little bit of yard work, whatever the case is, you can kind of maximize your efficiency in this class by just listening to this. And you can't help but to absorb a lot of that information. Now, the way that I always like to look at this, and this is what I tell my lecture classes, I'm your textbook. It's going to be me that's essentially telling you this story week in and week out. And if you pay attention to the story and you try your best to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, then the exams are not going to be that difficult. The point that I really want to make is watch the video lectures. Watch them once and for all. Now, the syllabus is going to tell you that you need to do this, but it's not as if I can just simply stand, over your shoulder and ensure that you're actually doing this. So if you really want to absorb the information and you want to do well in this class, it starts with those video lectures. Watch them regularly. Take notes on them the same way that you would take notes in a lecture-based class. If you do this, I promise you, you'll have a better experience and you'll do better in the class. There's just no way around it. Now, the PowerPoint presentations, if you look inside the unit by unit folders inside video lectures, you'll see that each lecture has its own individual title. If you want sort of a roadmap to help you keep track of your notes as you take notes for these, you can download the corresponding PowerPoint lecture. Now, once again, if we were having this class as a face-to-face meeting time, of course you would all see my PowerPoint presentation, but you know, I can't be there with you in your living room when you're watching this. And so those PowerPoint presentations are the same as if we were having a lecture-based class here. They're meant to help you break down my lecture and really get the meat of the lecture, the sustenance, how you can keep track of what it is that I'm telling you. So the information inside content is vitally important for your doing well in this course. If nothing else, it's going to keep you current, it's going to keep you abreast to the really important matters in our class. Watch them and take them serious, okay? Now, the next easiest thing that you can do in this class to really maximize your performance, and when I say that, what I mean is rack up a lot of not so difficult points. It's the discussion forums, okay? Now, pretty much every week, what you're going to see is a discussion forum question that's going to be due. Now, first of all, you can access the discussion forum questions by clicking on Discussions, which is right above Content on the left side of Blackboard, okay? Any given week, and the syllabus will correspond with this, any given week you're going to be asked to answer at least one discussion forum question, which is going to be very wide open and will typically ask you to use one or more documents in your readings. And again, the syllabus will point this out, so too will the discussion forum questions. Ask you to refer to those readings to answer this really open-ended question. Now, the point of these questions is not for you to get the right answer as much as it is for you to really think about the documents that we're reading. I mean, one of the things that historians do, and I need you to think like a historian in this class, but one of the things that we do is we analyze primary data, primary documents, newspaper articles, government-issued reports, people that were eyewitnesses to an event, like the inauguration of Abraham Lincoln or something like that. People that witnessed that and said this is what it was like. What historians do is we analyze that and we explain what it means in sort of what we would call the big picture for today, how the events of the past influence how we live today and what implications they have on the future. And so those discussion forum questions are designed to get you to think about this big picture by using really specific pieces of evidence to construct this big picture, okay? Now, furthermore, I also want you to take it serious to converse with your classmates. Again, one of the things that I want to get away from in this class is the idea that you're going this alone, that you're in this silo and you don't have anybody else with you. Not only do you have me, but you've got your classmates as well. So what I want you to do when you answer those discussion forum questions is I want you to read a couple, and it doesn't have to be every one of them, but read a few opinions outside of your own and then kind of respond to those opinions, okay? Say, you know something, Joe, I agree with you on this, but you might want to rethink that a little bit more, and Thomas Jefferson or Jack Kennedy has this to say about that, and you know, I think that that really poses a fundamental question as far as what you're saying. And of course, keep it respectful, okay? So discussion forums are really important because all I really ask that you do is to do them, right? If you can just do them and take them serious, as long as it's very clear to me that you put forward an honest effort in doing them, you should receive most of the credit for that, okay? Moving on, quizzes. Quizzes are important because, once again, they don't require an awful lot of effort. Typically, you'll have at least a 24-hour cycle between when one is assigned and when it's going to be due, and they're essentially open book. My hope in assigning these quizzes is not that I can trick most of you and you'll all get the wrong answer. Like the discussion forum questions, what I want you to do is go to a specific document or a specific set of documents and analyze it very critically. I want you to analyze it, and when you're done analyzing it, what I want you to do is tell me what your opinion is on it, why you think what you think. And once again, if you read the information that I ask you to read, and you do a good job and you think about it very critically, then it's going to be kind of difficult not to get most, if not all, of the points for that. Okay? Now, the rest of the class is a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more challenging because you don't have as much control over the exams and the papers as you do the quizzes and the discussion forums. Okay? Let's start with the paper assignments. Over the course of the semester, you'll be asked to write 2 papers. Each of them are going to be approximately 3 pages apiece. Inside the paper assignment tab in Blackboard, I've uploaded a collection of resources. In some cases, they're embedded in a folder titled Paper 1 or Paper 2 Resources. In most cases, what this amounts to is a collection of videos, much like the one that you're watching right now, that will point you in the right direction. They'll get your brain moving in the direction where it needs to go to write a really good and really effective paper. Okay? Now, what I mean by that is it'll really dig into that central question and get you to understand it on a really concrete level. But the other thing that it will do is it'll point out various readings, both within the textbooks that I assigned, but also within that document reader that I also assigned, that will be really, really important in terms of really digging into the essence of that central question, providing the meat of the evidence and the analysis that you're really going to want to incorporate in that paper to really get the most academic punch for your work, the most bang for your buck, if you will. So please, please, when we get into the papers, when those begin to come due, right, at least a week ahead of time, you're going to want to watch those videos. When I was in college and took a course similar to this, we would have something that would meet once a week, and we would call it recitation. And this was not lecture, it was not something that we were supposed to copiously take notes. It was something where we could kind of raise questions and talk about the readings, whether they were all making sense, where we're going in the direction of this class, and most importantly, things like the paper assignments. If you had a question, you could bring it up in recitation. Obviously, I don't get to do that with you because it is an online format, but the next best thing that I have is to use those online discussions to kind of get you at least thinking about this. And if you have a question, please don't hesitate to email me. Please shoot me that email. I'd be glad to address that issue for you. Okay, so all of the information that I upload in the paper assignment tab is relevant. In some cases, there may be supplemental documentary videos, there may be supplemental lectures that either myself or another professor, either at Mountain View or some other place, will have uploaded, and they're designed to help you. Everything that I put in there in Blackboard is designed to really help you and make this class a better experience for you. So that's the paper assignments. The last thing that I want to address would be the exams. Now, the exams are probably the most difficult part of the class simply because you have the least amount of control. You don't know what multiple choice questions you're going to see before they show up. You know, you very well may know what essay questions that I'm going to ask you, but it's a little bit different than a paper assignment in the sense that you're not going to have weeks upon weeks to prepare for this. You're generally going to have a few days, so the expectations are going to change a little bit. In any case, just like everything else that I've already outlined, there are ways that you can prepare for this right now, today, that are going to help you do better in the class. First of all, you're only going to see 2 exams, a midterm and a final exam. And right now, this instant, you can download the information that will help you to prepare for these exams. There are two documents. One is entitled Midterm Review Guide. The other is entitled Final Exam Review Guide. And that's basically going to be your study guides for the midterm and final exams. Now, in those study guides, they're going to consist of a term bank. Those terms that you see on there, first of all, those are the building blocks of my multiple choice exams. I am the kind of professor that wants everybody to know exactly what to expect going into the exam. For those of you that play sports or played sports, this might mean a lot to you. I had a football coach that used to say, the offense can tell you, the defense, what they're going to run in football. But you still have to go out there and stop it. You can know what's coming, but you still got to put in the work. You still got to be assignment sound and go out there and execute. Okay. So in any case, if you know a little bit about what that term is, and more importantly, why it's important, why it fits into the context of our class, then you should be pretty well prepared for those exam multiple choice questions. I can't give you the questions ahead of time because at that point it's not an exam and you would all just memorize the answers as opposed to understanding why the correct answer is the correct answer. The short answers, most of those are not going to change. The only difference is one or more of those questions will disappear, and I'm not going to tell you which one is going to disappear because I want you to prepare for most, if not all of them. The good news is you have a very good idea as to what will probably be appearing on the exam. So in those short answers, what I expect you to do is I expect you to answer the question in 2 or 3 sentences. It doesn't have to be sort of like an encyclopedia entry, but it does need to be a thorough answer. Now, the last question, which is essay and format, is going to be worth a very good chunk of your cumulative grade, 10 percentage points of your cumulative grade. You're going to see 2 of these, so taken together, it's 20 percentage points. In any case, that question will not change. So you can download that question right now and you can begin to start to think about it, right? What you really think, why you think it, what kind of evidence you think might be effective when it comes to demonstrating your argument and supporting your argument. You can begin to prepare for those right now. And so I guess the point that I want to make here with the review guides is as long as you keep up with them, as long as you don't put this off until hours before the exam goes live, then it should not be, a miserable experience. I think we've all had a class, certainly I have had classes where the exams seem to have nothing to do with the content of the class leading up to that point. My exams are not designed to do that. I really don't like it when my students fail my exams. So in any case, put in the time right now, put in the blood, sweat, and tears and the effort, and I promise you it will pay off. It will pay off, okay? Lastly, when it comes to exams, there are 2 discussion videos, I call them discussion videos, that are really going to help you dig into and think about those long essay questions, the one that's going to require quite a bit of writing, not the short answers, the long answers, and certainly not the multiple choice questions. Anyway, watch that. Again, it only consists of about 15 minutes, but if you watch it, I promise you, you will be 100% better prepared to answer that question, even if you don't do anything else other than watch those videos. It'll help you think about the fundamentals of those questions. So if you do these things, if you use the resources that are right there at your disposal that are designed to help you do better in the class, I promise you that the class itself will be a much better experience. Let me close by saying this. Again, I am not the kind of professor that really gets a kick out of failing half of my class. As a matter of fact, I really look at that as a failure on my own part. I feel that I've done my job when you get a satisfactory grade, a grade that you're satisfied with. Now, there's only so much that I can do to that end, right? I can give you all the resources that anybody could ever want when it comes to doing well in the class. I can answer every email that you send me. I can really be flexible in terms of some of the finer points of this class. What I can't do is make you do the work, right? If you watch the video lectures, if you stay on top of the discussion forums and know that at least one of them is going to be due every week and you need to make sure that you do those forums, if you're completing the quizzes, if you're reading the documents that I asked you to read, if you're putting in a little bit of work, I'm not asking for hours upon hours upon hours of work for preparation for these exams, but if you do those things, I think that you'll find that it will not only be an enjoyable experience, but you should end up doing well in the class. You should end up with the grade that you're satisfied with, that I hope anyway is going to contribute to a boost in your overall GPA. So I hope that this video has been helpful. If there's anything that does not make sense, is there anything that you'd like a little bit more clarification on, please do not hesitate to let me know. And more than anything else, please know that you're not alone in this class. Please know that I'm here, even though I'm not here, so to speak. And you've got classmates that are also going through the same experiences that you are. So if there's something that I can do to make your experience with this class more enjoyable, don't hesitate to let me know. Right? That being said, best of luck this semester. I'm very glad to have you in the class, and I'll talk to you soon.